Virgin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Horror Hobby Nation podcast. Tonight I've got Jason, Kyle, and Victoria from Haunted Stories and Investigations. Welcome, guys. They are podcast virgins.
We are. We were just saying.
I'll tell you what, I've broken quite a few of you guys. So, where do we start? Jason.
Yeah.
So, what got you into the paranormal, mate?
Well, ever since I've been as young as I can remember, really, I've seen things that weren't quite right. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's all right. I've got people coming on. They're saying hi. So I'm waving to them.
I thought you were waving to say you couldn't hear me. So, yeah.
No, I've got lots of people coming on, so I have to randomly do that. There you go.
You're all right. Yeah, since I can remember, since I'm about 4-year-old, I've always seen things that were a bit different and noticed that I was picking up on things that other people couldn't see. And yeah, my earliest memory is probably about 4-year-old, and I was led in my bed, and I saw an apparition in my bedroom, and I saw my wardrobe started moving, and I ran down to get my mum because I was only like 4-year-old. I got her up to the bedroom, and she was like, "Oh no, there's no such thing as ghosts, and turn lights off, you'll be all right." And I was like, "No, I've definitely seen something." And she sat in the bedroom with me for 5 minutes with lights off, and it started doing it with her in the bedroom. And the wardrobe lit up and started shaking, and this apparition appeared in the corner of the bedroom. And ever since then, that's kind of what got me into it and realised I could see things that other people couldn't see.
So, are you a medium then?
Yeah, in some respects, I won't class myself as a full medium because I can see and speak and pick up on the feelings of spirits, but it is not to the extreme of what some people can do. It's like a bit hit and miss, if you will. So some places I go on and pick up on everything that's there, and other places I won't pick up on anything, but Vicky will do. So between us, we tend to have good bit of experience between us, really.
So going to Vicky then.
Yeah.
Are you the medium?
I don't really class myself as that, but I see, I hear, I feel. It makes Carl laugh a lot because we'll often on meeting people, I'll get a message through for them and end up making a guest that I've never met before sob because I've brought something up that. So it's I don't really class it as, it's not true mediumship because I can't. The thing with the afterlife is I don't see it. You can't call someone down. It's not like, come on, Matthew, I want to speak to great Auntie Ethel. If they're there and there's a message there, I will hear it. If they're not, they're not.
It is crazy. It is crazy to watch you talking to people though, and then.
Well, mate, you don't have to tell me. I did. I work with a guy, a proper medium, and he's an ordained minister.
Yeah.
And I was in the basement with him, and he tranced, and this little boy came through. That is weird. He was talking like an 8-year-old kid. Singing Ring of Roses. It was phenomenal. I was like, what's this all about? Right, Kyle, same to you, mate. What got you into it?
Pretty much in. I think the first place we went to together was it Whittingham?
Yeah, Whittingham Mental Asylum.
Whittingham Mental Asylum it was, and it's in is it Garstang?
Yeah.
Garstang near Preston.
Well, it was. It's all houses now.
Yeah, it's gone now. It's completely gone. But it was like a mental asylum, and we went there and with our old manager, and he's died now unfortunately. But and we were just looking around. It was all like barriered off, and then we met the security guard, and he turned out to be a really sound security guard, so he ended up letting us in, and he took us round, and then you started getting all these feelings, and I was like, "Fucking hell, whoa!" But yeah, pretty much. I think that's the first time that we actually did anything like that, and that's kind of what got me into it, I think. So yeah, him.
Stupid question. Now I'm going to ask you. You guys are in the UK, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, we're in Lancashire.
You're where?
Lancashire.
I'm in North Lincolnshire.
Well, I'm the outsider because I'm from East Yorkshire. So I'm a Yorkshire lass, but then moved over.
Oh, God. We won't say no more.
Two roses.
So, obviously now, I know you're UK and that. What places have you investigated then around the UK?
We've tried quite a number of places, really. At the minute, that's one of the things we're trying to do is find different places that we have done, because we've done abandoned mills, we've done cemeteries, graveyards, churches, mansions, abbeys. So it's one of them at the minute. That's our aim this year, is to try and do places that we haven't been and that other people haven't been to, try to find somewhere unique. But obviously that's easier said than done. We've been to Cannock Chase and Woodlands and stuff like that as well.
Have you done any paid events yet? Hi, Scott, by the way.
Yeah, we do. We're going to 2 this year, actually. We've been to 4 Crosses previously.
I haven't found that one yet.
It's an amazing place. If you see it come up, do get a chance to go. It's not too far really from where you are, I don't think. But
No, it's not.
Yeah, but it's incredible.
Where else are you going?
We've got Chirk Mill booked as well. We've not been there before, so I'm not sure what that's like, but we've got that one booked. And then it'll be just a case of seeing where else we can. But we don't try to do too many public ones. I mean, we like to meet other paranormal investigators, obviously, because we've got things in common. But I tend to find with the paid events, you tend to get too many people there for my liking. I mean, some of them, like we did 4 Crosses, and I think there was about 8 of us, which was fine. We split it off into little groups, and that was all right. But I'm always a bit worried when it's bigger groups; it gets a bit disorientating, and you don't know.
Just that they're trying their own investigation, like you said, and it mixes and it distorts the energies around you, and you can't get the right results. I totally agree with you. I've done events for 4 years now. I haven't done it this year because I wanted to try this and other things.
Yeah.
But I've done paid events, and it's so hard. I think the biggest event I ran was with Dan, who's on now. He's my medium, or training medium. We did RAF Binbrook, and there was 60 customers, and we did it between us for 12 hours.
I mean, I think,
it's hard, really hard.
I think as well.
Cannock Chase, I have to ask, what's the big deal with Cannock Chase?
The Cannock Chase is one we want to go back to because there's a lot more to explore there. But we didn't do what normal people do. We just basically parked up halfway up the road and went randomly into the woods. We didn't stick to the paths or anything like that. We just literally went to a darkest bit of the road that we could find, pulled up. Well, I think it was middle of February and it was snowing, weren't it? It was freezing cold. It was about -6 and we were trekking into the woods. But there's a lot of I picked up on a lot more cryptid feeling in the woods and a lot more like witchcrafty kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot more woodland spirits and like the sense of like Wolfman and Dogman, stuff like that kind of thing came through more. Like big creatures roaming through the woods, and there was certain structures in the trees that were like, we came across a tree that was completely sideways, pinned up in top of other trees, like it had been thrown like a spear. And it was just seeing things like that, and you're like, how can you explain that? There's no roads to get in here with vehicles, and yet there's a full on tree just sideways up in top of trees. It was just madness to just see the surroundings, and the atmosphere was crazy in them woods.
You're like me then. You don't tend to stick to normality. You like to explore the dark. This is the problem with paranormal teams. They go to the obvious.
That's it. I mean, places like 30 East Drive, they've been done so much. I know. I'll show you. I wouldn't mind going to see what the fuss is about, but when somewhere like that is populated with so much energy, people are going to bring their own energies in as well.
30 East Drive. I'm known for taking a picture at 30 East Drive of what looks like the Black Monk.
Mm.
On top of that, behind on the shoulder looks like Philip. I took a picture of Philip's room. I used a mirror. Dante, he was there with me. We were doing an event there. Apart from the picture, the whole night was not what we expected. We heard at 6 o'clock, we got there at 6. Me and Dan walked in, and we went out to do something quickly, and the miner's door shut, slammed. That was that. We heard constant dragging on the floor through the whole night. Other than that, in the picture, 12 hours we were there for. And everyone says, but what everyone's got to remember, as you know, as paranormal investigators, 10,000 plus people go through that house a year.
Yeah.
What's there now is people's attachments, not
Exactly.
the Black Monk.
Exactly.
You will pick up on so much. We picked up on 3 girls from a school fire from down the roads. There's nothing to do with the house. We picked up 6 other children, something to do with the shed. Nothing to do with the house.
Yeah.
It's weird. And then they said about, we were looking for a well, because they said there's a well there. There ain't a well there at all. So we were like, yeah, whatever, get on with it. So I've done 30 East Drive, and it got me on papers, TV, the lot. Done it, been there. But it depends on the person, I think, because I've seen a lot of teams since go there, and they're picking up different things. I really think it's to do with the person.
Yeah.
Because if we've got an attachment, who's to say that it's not playing up? We all know we've got guides.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I would do it for an experience.
But not only that, if you're going in, say, a week after somebody else has gone in, their own attachments, their own relatives might still be lingering because they know it's a place where people can come that can communicate with them. So
it's weird. The energy in the house is really weird. There's a corner cabinet on the right-hand side in the dining room, and there's a piece of coal, and it said if you steal it, you get cursed. Apparently, somebody stole it. And they apparently get bad luck. It shows you everything that happened. That's sitting there. I mean, we have the grandfather clock there, and we were struggling with that because as soon as you step near it, it started to move, but we couldn't tell whether it was our weight or whether it was the actual clock. And that happened a lot. And I've seen a lot of teams say that that actually is the clock. I don't think it is. I mean, I'm a big lad. I'm, 20 plus 10. So I don't honestly think that's the clock. Personally, I would go on a one-off and try it because there is multiple spirits there and they do things that you do not expect normally. That lady, I can't remember her name, that used to own the house when she died before Ed Bundy. I can't remember his name now. The producer, I can't remember his name. I know it's some Bungie. Mr. Bungie, he owns it now, who did the film When the Lights Go Out, which wasn't actually filmed in the house, it was filmed across the street in another house. So, yeah, it's definitely worth going. I mean, I haven't done Canuck Chase, and I get people telling me, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? I don't know what the hype is.
I know there's been some we've gone to, haven't there? We've watched and we've been like,
Yeah, I mean, we normally find the places that nobody thinks of are the ones that are most active. I mean, it's like I've walked into people's houses and I've been like, oh, hold on a minute, there's quite a lot in here, and they're like, what are you on about? It's like, well, I've got a chap over here and a lady over here, and they're like, what do you mean? And then I go into these buildings that are renowned for it and get absolutely nothing. So that's what I mean. I wouldn't say I'm a full-on medium because I can't guarantee I always pick up. I'm not saying there's nothing there. It's just that I personally don't see anything. So.
Yeah, but that's you being truthful and honest about it. I mean, I did an event. Scott, actually, funny enough, was there. I invited him. I had Rigger from SPIG, which is the Scottish Paranormal team. I took Scotland Paranormal, and Dan was with me at the time, and we went to Edinburgh Volts. So if you want to see,
We've
we
actually
destroyed it. Between
That's
6
really
teams,
wasn't it?
I cancelled the event within 90 minutes.
And we've actually just got back from Edinburgh. We wanted to go in there, and we wanted to go to is it Queen Mary's Close?
Queen Mary's Close underneath.
Yeah, but we left it too late to do anything, so we just enjoyed the weekend in Edinburgh. But
We
even just
did that.
walking the street,
It's brilliant, Edinburgh. I lived there for 2 years. Cowgate, brilliant. When they had Southside Volts open, Scott will tell you there was thousands of attacks. I think there was 20,000+ attacks, and I was there in 2000, and it was open at that point to the public. It's now shut down, but they have Nidri Volts now, and unfortunately, it's two nightclubs either side of it, and then you've got a flat above it. I won't tell you anymore. I'll let you use your imagination. But 90 minutes it took for 4 paranormal teams and 2 events companies to shut the whole event down and leave.
yeah.
That's our experience of Edinburgh Volts. And it cost me £2,000.
Oh,
Jesus.
So I'll tell people what I think of Edinburgh Volts. It's not, and the worst thing about it was there was a tour party coming out 4 minutes before we went up. So no, it was all wrong. I have a question for Jason from my medium, Dan. He's what? You guys got your on the phone. He's put, has Jason got a close friend recently passed between 5 to 10 years who wants to say in an accident, also an auntie recently passed? I'm getting the name Mary.
No, not Mary. I've had an auntie that passed, but not called Mary. What would he
Dan.
A friend. I've not.
Dan, I won't worry about the name thing, mate. But yeah, that's Dan, by the way. That's my medium, training medium. He's trying to read people like yourself, you know, how you're trying to develop. Dan's been developing very quickly by watching the podcasts and reading people. It's brilliant. Jeez. Hello, Facebook user. No idea. Hey, anyway. That's what I mean. I've got the phone, which I'm talking to you. When I look over here, I've got my laptop, and I've got my other phone down here, so I can get people's names. It's ridiculous. So going on then, Kyle. How long have you guys been doing this first? I got to ask before I start asking big questions.
Well, the YouTube channel's been just over 2.5 years.
3 years this October.
Yeah, to be fair, we didn't really start doing it till like
lockdown.
I mean, like, I've known him for since like 2010 or something like that, and then we went to that Whittingham Asylum at like, I guess at like 2011 or something like that. We didn't start doing actual investigating until
2020.
End of 2020.
End of 2020.
So basically you've done urban exploring and then gone into paranormal too.
Well, we've kind of done a few, like that Whittingham Asylum was a bit of paranormal thing, because I 100% believe him. Everything that he says and his reactions to things just ring so true. So, anywhere that we've been, like that Whittingham Asylum, was just like.
Okay, now I'm curious because I haven't been able to do asylums yet. Obviously, I want to do Bromwell Garth.
Yeah, that just blew my mind. And then
that's really good. That one. Hyroids Hospital. I want to do because they filmed something there. There's a film there they did, so I want to do that. But going to Whittington Asylum, have you guys experienced any form or physical form of touch from anything in there?
Anyone physical touch?
Physical
Physical
touch.
Yeah, I get a lot of
You get that a lot,
physical
don't you?
touch, and
You get a lot.
I think you've had it a few times, haven't you? And
St James's Cemetery, I ended up on the floor.
yeah,
then.
St James Cemetery in Liverpool we did, and Vicky actually ended up on the floor. She actually got pushed over to the ground and actually knocked out. We got like a really strong vampire spirit that came through, and I literally on the video I stood in the tunnels where the tombstones are along where the gravestones are in the tunnel. I don't know if you know it, but I was stood in there with my back to the tunnel at the entrance. And as I was stood there, I just got a whack on the back of my head. And if you watch the video, a bat actually flew into the back of my head and flew off.
Literally, yeah, an actual bat flew into the back of his head.
But you know, when we slowed it down frame by frame, you don't actually see it come into frame. And when it hit me on the back of the head, it felt like a hand. But then on the camera, you see a physical bat fly away from the back of my head.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it was like, for me, I was stood there and it felt like someone ran up behind me and just went smack on the back of my head. And then on the camera, you just see this bat fly away. And then I looked up online, I was like, what are the odds of a bat hitting a human being on the head? And it says like near enough 0. Like the bats are that good with the sonar, they don't fly into things. So
That could have been anything now, in theory.
but we've had
So
Go on, sorry.
here comes the big question. Have you experienced, and I won't say demonic because you can, have you experienced the darker side of it all? Like
Yeah,
black, dark entities.
Yeah, we've had some nasty personalities come through, and we've had some, we'll call them characters. But I won't say we've had anything
I've had like
major.
lower level kind of stuff. Before I met these guys, I was actually I used to just like work for myself, helping people. So like when people have something in the house, they could no filming or anything like that. Just go and try and help these people clear the houses and get their lives back. And there's a few there that were a bit kind of bordering that I've had to kind of fight through to deal with. One in a carpet shop kind of rings a bell, where I thought we did the clearing and we thought it had gone because it wouldn't reveal itself. It was just shrouded. It was just like a black mass. It wouldn't reveal who it was. And we cleared it, the energy lifted, and then a week later they rang me and said it's back. And it took me and my friend who still lives over there, it took us a good week of constantly going in night after night to clear it out. It was just horrendous.
Was that the one where you found out after she was encouraging it to come back?
Yeah, the owner was actually putting cameras and mirrors against each other, making portals to try and capture it on film.
So
I was going in night after night, clearing it out, doing the rituals, doing the chants, and then she was filming it, putting cameras up when I'd gone, and putting these mirrors back that I told her to destroy. I mean, the first time I walked in, I went, "Where's the Ouija board?" And she went, "I haven't got one." I said, "You have. Where is it? Where is it?" And I had to push and push, and eventually she went, "Oh, well, I put it in a box." So I told her to get rid of it. She promised me she had. By the 4th night, I walked back in and I went, "Where is that Ouija board? You didn't get rid of it. Tell me where it is." And then she pulled it out from underneath one of the shelves.
You're supposed to take it out of the garden, dig it, dig a hole, bury it. You can't burn it. And that's the best way to get rid of it, apparently.
The problem with them is whatever has come through, you have to send back through the board before you get rid of the board.
Like you know as well as I do, 9 times out of 10, sometimes it's impossible.
It is.
I got told when I spoke to a ordained minister and a few priests about this sort of thing, because it happens quite a lot in the UK, where you guys have probably experienced it yourself, where you've been to a location and kids have opened up a portal and left it open.
Yep.
We get a lot of it up here. It's dangerous. I mean, we got the A15 house. It's known as the murder house up here on the A15. I went one time. We had a couple of things. Went the second time, and at least 4 portals have been opened, and they left them open.
We had that.
And the energy is phenomenal.
There was
You know, you just don't know what they are. And the solution to it now is to destroy the house instead.
Well, there's a cottage that we went to. It's been open to the public.
Really?
Yeah.
And they actually have Ouija boards that they keep there for you to do. And the first time Jason and I went there, we were like, something's not right. That's been left open. And we knew we could pinpoint exactly which one it was, what had come through, and what needed shoving back.
It's all well and good having people coming in and having the equipment to use, but the problem is a lot of these people going in and just paying the money, thinking nothing of it, doing the Ouija board, and then something bangs and they run out and they're walking off and just leaving it for.
Everything's open.
That's it. And then we go in and we're like, well, that's not been closed. There's someone here that shouldn't be here, and it needs sending back. And we said you just need to be a bit more careful and just make sure if people are doing Ouija boards, they know how to do it and how to finish it. And under no circumstances they didn't leave the Ouija board open because they don't realise what they.
You know, as well as I do, people don't. You guys have experienced it yourself. It's mainly kids.
It is. It's like people will look up. I've had this. People will look up like runes or symbols online, draw them all over the walls, but not realise what they're actually drawing or writing.
I got one of them. There's one of our locations. It's actually a public location. Lav, Hubbard Seals. There's a bus shelter, and there's a load of symbols all over this bus shelter. Me and my ex-partner at the time, we were looking at it and we're like, what is it? So she made me take pictures of every individual symbol. We've come home and I've researched it, and at least 8 of the symbols are to do with witches. And I'm like, that. Why? Why would you do that? I just don't get it.
I think the thing with witches is you've got to realise there's different levels of witch as well. There's good witches,
Yes.
there's witches, and then there's witches that are more.
Tapped in.
Yeah.
So the one with the dark.
There's tuned, and then there's like out of tune. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I'm the one that's tuned, so I'm very much into the cycle of the earth, natural energies, that kind of thing. But obviously in my travels and in my wanderings, you come across the others who are not akin to making deals and making pleas and bargaining, and that kind of spell work can result in some quite nasty stuff.
Kyle, mate, because you're quiet, I'm about to hit you with a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Experiences, mate.
Well,
have you experienced any paranormal yourself?
Well, me personally, I don't really get, like, physically myself, I don't personally get much. I kind of like these two, I trust these two with what they actually sense and what they feel and everything. It's like when we were at Cannock Chase and I was filming and Jake had just staring behind me, and he was just staring behind me, and it was like, he didn't say anything at the time, but afterwards, on the way back, it was like, I could see like this mouth behind you, and it was like, I can't remember what it was. But,
big teeth,
yeah,
snarling,
big teeth, snarling and stuff, and I shit myself. But me personally, the only thing I've ever felt, I think, was we were at the first time I felt something. We were at that cemetery, weren't we?
Haworth.
Oh, Haworth Graveyard.
Was it Haworth? No, I felt something touch me back. I can't remember.
I know Haworth. No, Haworth. We did Haworth Cemetery. We did
Haworth's when you
Haworth
got
was when you got possessed. When you two friggin' held hands. If these two hold hands, that's just game over. That then. But yeah, me personally, no. I think I've only really felt it the odd time, but it's not been anything like sort of. I'm not really that. I don't think in tune with that sort of side of things myself. I'd like to be more, but I just don't think I am. So I don't tend to pick up much myself. To answer your question.
Sorry, I've just got another question. Vicky's turn. Daniel has now just put the following. I am picking up military personnel around Vicky. I want to say Royal Air Force World War II.
Yeah, that fits.
Mhm.
That fits very much. I'm ex-RAF. My grandfather was in the RAF during World War II.
Bloody airy fairies. My father's ex-RAF.
Yeah,
I'm ex-army.
I could tell there was definitely that military. Forces know each other.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys were given a chance to investigate anywhere in the world, and I ask every team this, where would it be and why? One place.
So many
There is.
places.
There is.
I can't think.
I have a personal one. I know where I'd love to go.
Go on.
I'd love to go to like either Transylvania, that kind of area,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
because of the wonderful mythology and the wonderful stories surrounding it. I'd just love to go there.
Yeah, I'm intrigued more with the Japanese.
Suicide Forest.
Yeah.
No, I'm out. You're going on your own, man. You're on your own with that.
They scare the crap out of me, but I'd love to experience it.
No.
Suicide Forest. I got a lady on here who came on to start off with, who gave me a private invite because she's Japanese and lives in Japan, and she's about half a mile from Suicide Forest, and she's a medium. We got invites last night, personal ones, to go over to her, and she will take us around Suicide Forest. It is my dream, and I'll explain why. I'm not a medium, I'm an empath, completely different, so I feel pain and see shadows. For me, Suicide Forest is the closest you can get to death while being alive, because all the spirits in there have taken their own lives. The bodies are still there, and they are disgruntled, disorientated. It's for a medium, it's heaven.
Yeah, that is
But
one thing I'd love to go to Suicide Forest.
Yeah, when you said Japanese, I knew exactly where you meant. I got a list yesterday. She was actually sent me a list last night, and 90% of Japan's haunted.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm determined now. I really am determined to go to Japan just to experience it. Because you see things like, I watch Korean and Japanese films, horror films, and their horrors are so more intense.
Oh, they're on another level.
Yeah, they are literally. It's like you've got Alice in Borderland, which is psychological, and that was really well done. Then you've got All of Us Are Dead. I've watched a few supernatural ones where the guy's dead and the woman's the medium, and they go cleanse how haunted houses. It's phenomenal the stuff they come up with, you know, and the serial killer side of things as well. They're brilliant. I think the Koreans and Japanese, when it comes to films, are absolutely epic. But the history, wow, of the actual country. She said to me, 90% of Japan is haunted, and I think to myself, Japan's quite big.
I was just thinking.
Yeah, it's quite a big country.
Exactly. Come on, Kyle. You need to tell us, where would it be? And your back garden don't count now, mate.
Yeah, I don't think we get much there, but
You'd probably pick a pub with lots of spirits.
Actually, I don't have a proper pub.
you're not wrong there, yeah. No, I was kind of thinking more America kind of way myself, because anywhere far from Japan, to be honest with you.
Really? I'll tell you what else. You've got America as well, which is just as bad, but Japan's more intense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think I'm ready for that. To be honest, I just stay behind the camera. That's all I do.
It shakes when Jay and I hold hands.
When them two hold hands, that scares me, because I've seen him get bloody taken over by something before, and I was crying my eyes out because I was that scared. I can't lie, but yeah, I think America might be the next kind of place somewhere over there. The next stage, I don't really know where exactly.
The deep south or something like that.
See, my only problem with America is I feel like it gets hyped up too much.
Yeah, totally agree.
A bit like 13 Drive, and it gets hyped up, but it's like, I feel like a lot of these places in America you'd go into and it'd be like an odd bump and a crack and that'd be it. There'd be no much there. Whereas Japan, I feel like it must be oozing with it. It must be.
I think we're lucky living in the UK.
Yeah, we've got so many places in the UK.
Although, who's that fella called who does that Russian? Is he Russian?
Oh, it's in Morozov.
That's it.
Yeah,
I'd love to go there. Where
in Russia.
some of the places that he goes to, Morozov.
See if
Morozov?
it's
Morozov, yeah.
actually true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's
So Russia. So it would be Russia then, yeah?
Probably Russia, yeah. I've checked.
Man, that's interesting. See, I wouldn't mind doing Chernobyl.
Oh my God, yeah.
See, Chernobyl would be interesting because of the history there as well.
Oh.
Yeah, and you know as well as I did, it's the fact, what gets me is the fact that there's life. You know, the wildlife, how the greenery's how Mother Nature's taken over.
Yeah.
They said it would never happen.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic feel to it.
They like playing Fallout.
Fallout IRL.
I love everything like that. Yeah.
If World War III cracks off, that's probably the safest place to be.
Yeah, true.
Trying to think now. Scariest moment, Kyle, and I ask you for the simple reason is you've just basically said straight away that you're a bit of a jumper.
Well, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a jumper at all. I'll be honest. It's a bit of a weird one because I'm completely not a jumper as such.
You don't run screaming. No, you don't run screaming. You just say it.
But when you two held hands at Howard Cemetery, and he got taken over by something, and it was, I was that scared for my best mate, essentially.
Jason, did you go into trance?
Yeah, it was someone trying to possess me, but I was trying to push them out, and they just got a bit too much of a grip on me. So
yeah, which is why Vicky joined hands with you to try and help us out. Yeah, when you said hold hands, I know exactly what you were doing.
It was a bit of a weird one because I don't think it was necessarily a spirit as such. It was more like an entity that was trying to.
It was
just a bad feeling.
You know, like an energy that kind of you'll meet people in your life who are like it. You go to someone's house and you come out and you feel absolutely knackered and you're like, oh my God, that was draining. Even though they've not been horrible, they've not done anything nasty, it's just them. It was that kind of energy.
But this energy was so strong and it was just sucking all the energy. After I came round, I felt like I'd been KO'd in boxing ring or something. I felt like I'd been flat out and just
paranormal hangover.
Back round.
The paranormal hangover. I bet that's horrible.
Yeah, because you could just tell by your face and everything. And I've never seen anyone like that before in my life. Like in real life, let alone my best mate. So I'm like panicking, and also at the same time, obviously, I don't know. I just, especially when anything paranormal kind of happens as well, I start tearing up as well, and it all just.
Jason, do you get the impression that Kyle's a bit of a sensitive?
He can be, but I think he puts without realising he puts a lot of shields up. He puts a lot of boundaries up.
Not sensitive.
I think he's a sensitive.
No.
But he doesn't open up to it. He could do if he wanted to, but I feel like
you're sensitive, Kyle.
Just because I cried, we got taken over.
you definitely are a sensitive, Kyle. I
was scared for your safety.
Mate, you've probably got the best thing in the world, the fact that you have 2 mediums, because the protection there is unreal. You're more safer than me when I go out with my medium.
Yeah.
There's nothing going to touch you.
Until them 2 hold hands. I have to keep an eye on them, because as soon as one of them holds hands, usually one of them gets taken over by something, and then I'm the one I'll ask the buddy pick them up again.
Jason and Vicky, then, is it normal for you two to have, or for you to allow spirits to come through and use you?
No. No. The nearest I get is when I do the Estes test. I don't use a speaking app. I just use white noise, and
Yeah, that's what I did.
I let kind of their voices come through, but they never actually get in, if that makes sense. I will
Yeah.
let the words come and their voices come through, but that's as near as it gets. And I constantly have that push, which is why the one at St James's took me by surprise, because I was actually filming for the first time. I actually had a camera. So I was filming. I can remember filming the end of the wall and seeing like this black shape. And I was just saying, can someone get this camera? I feel a bit wobbly. And the next thing I know is I was on the floor being brought round by Jay. And it's because I'd let my guard down a little bit because I was holding the camera.
That's why
Question for you, Kyle.
That's why we don't film.
It's left to
Kyle,
the professionals.
question. Daniel's put that he is picking up some relatives around you. Uncle, auntie, and great grandma. Does that ring a bell, Jason and Vicky? Bear in mind that you'd see it as well.
He's saying as Kyle got auntie, uncle, and great grandma.
Spirit.
That's not who I see around him, but
No. What would I pick up on?
no. It's up to Kyle.
I'm trying to think who that might be, to be honest. Auntie, uncle.
They're like guides. They're like guides for us or protectors. But that's what Dan's seeing around you now.
Could be your guide, your great grandmother.
Well, yeah, could
be,
well
yeah,
be, yeah.
You have a male guide that we haven't quite locked. He has a male
Well,
guide
well,
with
that
him
could
that we
be,
haven't
yeah.
locked on who it is.
I mean, I think did my dad have a brother?
Irene, who's the Japanese lady I was telling you about a minute ago, she's also picked it up and she's a full medium. She's just said the same thing. But that's what they're picking up round the car.
I need to just make a note of this, sorry.
No, you carry on, mate.
So,
Great grandma, auntie, and uncle.
Yeah, also apparently there's 3 of them around you. Guides, mate, the protectors.
I can't.
We all have them.
I couldn't even say who that would be, to be honest. I don't really. I didn't really get to meet a lot of me family. Like
It's funny because
like,
a lot of people say that have passed that have guides. I don't know whether Jason and Vicky have it, but for me personally, also, I never met my grandfather. He was in the Navy, and he's funny enough, he's my guide,
Yeah,
and I never met him.
That's who your friends picked up on. My grandfather, I never met him. He died unfortunately when my dad was 7, so I never met him. But I know that he's around me.
That's what I mean. It's amazing how many family members you don't meet and they end up being your guides. I'll tell you what, I'm quite looking forward to passing over just to see who these people are. I really am.
I'm gonna ask my grandma about them.
I would. It's something to think about as well, because if they're there as well as Jason and Vicky with protection, mate, you're near enough invincible.
To be fair, that's probably why I've not really felt much as well. I do think that as well.
But if you're sensitive, if you're sensitive, then you're more likely to be attacked than Jason and Vicky. So that's why they're probably all around you. They pick on the weakest.
You didn't tell me this when I signed up for the job.
Mate.
No, we won't let anything happen to you. You know that.
Irene, hang on, this is interesting. Irene just sent me something. We'll read it out to you in a sec. Irene, can you tell me about the wife thing? But Irene's just put, Kyle, they are saying be careful, and the wife has to watch her heart because it could cause her problems in the future. Does that mean anything?
Sorry, I'm having to lean forward now. Be careful because. Oh.
Wait, because it can cause her problems in the future. Something to do with the heart, the wife.
The wife.
No, it won't be my wife. I'm not going to wife.
These are what the spirits are saying.
Right. I'm not sure.
The wife. That's why I'm asking about the wife. Who's the wife?
Yeah, it won't be my wife unless I've.
Irene? Well, Irene, I think I know who it is now. Irene, are you talking about Vicky?
Or
Got to wait for it to come through now. Yes, I was talking about you, Vicky.
For me, I've got to what?
Watch your heart because it can cause you problems in the future.
Yep, I know. I know exactly what that is. My dad.
Wait,
bless
that's
him,
a lady who's in Japan that's just done that.
yeah, my family. There's genetic heart problems on my dad's side, basically.
Yeah, I've got the same issue. See how mediumship works properly. Now, I didn't believe this. I don't know about you, Kyle, but I didn't believe mediums to start off when I started doing this. I'm not going to lie. I heard so much rubbish from people being fake and everything else. So I didn't believe in mediums. But then I worked with one for 4 years. And the stuff I experienced, same as you will, Kyle, and it will get a lot more intense, as Jason and Vicky know, right? You will start to believe in a lot more. Like, it's like ghosts. I didn't believe in ghosts. I didn't believe in demons. I can't even say that word, I hate it. I didn't believe in disgruntled spirits. You know, I didn't believe in history. I've been doing this 8 years now, and I'm not 100% believer. I'm 50-50, skeptic as well. But I have seen things I cannot explain. And Kyle, you filming have more of a chance of seeing things than Jason and Vicky do.
Yeah.
Because you're using glass for a camera. So you've got double-sided reflection. So you're quite immune to, you're quite more to see it all. Irene's just put, Vicky, that her chest hurts when she sees you.
Yeah.
So she's, you know where I'm going, you know where she's going with it.
Yeah. I'm also asthmatic, so.
Oh.
No, that might be the pain in your chest.
Kind of fits. I'm bad with my chest at the moment, so that might be what she's feeling.
Interesting, Irene. Right, guys, questions. If anyone's got questions, do throw them up because I'm literally rolling things off my head.
I'll just quickly tell you about one thing that I saw today. I
Yeah, go on, mate.
Toilet earlier. I've never seen this before. It was really weird. And I don't know why it happened today. I've never actually seen anything like it before, but I was in the toilet at my grandma's and I forgot about it. And I was looking at my grandma's ornament, you know, the frogs actually.
All the frogs, yeah.
You know the frogs. And this black, like, figure reflection on the frog behind me as I was having a wee, obviously. And I thought it was me. So I was kind of moving around trying to get the same black figure. And I couldn't make the same black figure, but like this same black figure, like just like reflection on the thing.
Did you say your grandma?
Yeah, I live with my grandma.
Right, so when did your granddad pass?
I think like
Roughly.
19... Oh, I don't actually know, to be honest. It was like 19... Oh, friggin' hell.
Was it in that house?
It was, yeah, it was outside that house.
Then it'll be him.
Oh, yeah, well, that would kind of make sense.
It will be him letting you know that everything's all right. Vicky and Jason will tell you, spirit come to you at the weirdest of times, mate. And you see family a lot. If something's wrong or you need reassurance, they're the first people there. Whether you know who it is or not, they will be there. And it's probably your grandfather, mate.
Were you having a tricky wee?
I've never seen that before in my life.
Well, that is when they pick when you're most vulnerable.
When you're not
I was pretty vulnerable as well.
On the other side, right, Irene, is this the middle or the right hand side? I've got another. Irene just said something else. She's put the man on the other side has ear problems with infections or something like that? Hearing.
Ear problems, you, Kyle?
Me or this
Maybe.
one?
Maybe it's either one of you. Should just put one of you has. No,
I
you.
I like to think my hearing's quite good, but I think he has.
My ear is crap. I can't hear a word.
He has quite waxy ears.
She's on about basically that you've got a damaged ear base. Your hearing's going.
It would make sense. I did fire a bullet into my ear when I was a kid, so I have got a bit of a dodgy eardrum.
Yeah. Dan's just put you as well, Jason. Mental. How two people you've never met can read your life from a thing. This is how Daniel's adapted his skills. As weird as it sounds, both of us were really poor with our skills. Obviously, like I said, I'm an empath, but I wasn't open since Kyle. He's not really. I blocked everything. I moved, and now I've got 6 children, an old lady, and my dog running around in the bungalow with me every day. I love it. It's brilliant. They are so pleasant to be with.
It's a bit like.
But I've opened up. I opened up. Daniel wants to do the medium side of it, and since we've been doing these podcasts, Daniel has literally, as you can tell now, how good he's getting with it. Only 8 sessions he's done with this now, and that's how good he is already. It's not practice; it's just watching. It's really strange. Going back to you guys. 3 years you said you've been doing this, haven't you?
Well,
Roughly.
3 years actually filming it for YouTube, anyway.
Yeah.
I've been doing it a lot longer than that. I've done a lot of investigations before I even met either of these two. When I was a lot younger, I was doing investigations on my own. But it's been 3 years that we've been doing it as a team through YouTube and what have you.
So I'll ask you then, Jason, because you've been doing it the longest. Best location? Why?
I gotta say my best location for me personally is probably Wycoller Ruins, where we got the shadow figure on camera.
Nice.
Just because that place is so full of energy. We got noises that we couldn't explain. We got physical shadow apparitions.
There's
there's fairies and all sorts around there. It's just full of stuff.
Would you say you're more cryptic? You do more cryptology?
I do pick up on quite a few cryptids, and we do try to keep it separate, but at the same time, when we did Can It Chase, it ended up being Dogman that we picked up on. So we tend to try and keep more to spirits, but if cryptids come into it, we do tend to go on to that side as well.
See, I've never done cryptic, and I would be interested in doing it because I spoke to a friend of mine in America, and we were talking about the Texas Blue. And the lady thought, and someone thought it was a chupacabra.
Like we do a bit of like the folklore and stuff as well, like Jenny Greenteeth and the what was she called? O'Neill. Peg O'Neill. So we do a few of them as well, because the whole reason our channel started was through you doing the TikToks, and she did 1 minute haunted stories, like actual well-known haunted stories. And then we started doing the investigations, which is where the name came from, Haunted Stories and Investigations, because we put the two together. But we kind of like going to these places with these well-known haunted stories and actually seeing if there is any truth in it, and if there is anything there that matches with the story, or if it's just, in some cases it is, but it's exaggerated for the sake of the stories. And it's interesting, especially when you go into cryptids and Krampus and things like that.
Okay then. So for you, investigating, do you go into debunk or to prove?
Bit of both, really, because if we do find anything, the first thing we tend to do is try to pull it to bits and try to debunk it ourselves.
Look for the obvious. So if we get like a banging door, we'll be looking for other open windows. Is there a floorboard that you stand on that makes it move? Is there a draft? Those kind of, we'll look for the obvious before we look for the supernatural. If that makes sense.
That's why a lot of the locations we go to again and again, because we'll do all the
Yeah.
groundwork and then we'll go back knowing what we already know. And we even went as far as when we got the shadow figure, we even checked the moon cycle and everything to check it weren't a reflection off one of us. And we had all the evidence tied up to just show that, look, it's 100%, as far as we can show, and as far as we can prove, it's 100% a proper apparition going across. And the fact that it went from one side of me across the other side, it was just perfect to see on camera. It's, I think it's every paranormal investigator's dream is to get a full apparition on camera.
Oh, you don't tell me about it. I got Dan's put. He's seeing a dog and a cat walking around. You guys.
A dog and a cat.
walking around.
Oh, no cats for me. No.
I've got an old dog that I lost when I was younger, and
So have I.
this one's got a couple of dogs that he's lost.
And I've got a dog.
And you've got a dog, so there's plenty of dogs between us.
I'm going to have a dog now, but he's in bed.
There you go, Dan. It's a dog. And then Irene's put warning is what I'm getting. I wish you. Can you elaborate on that, Irene? Because she freaks me out. Some of the things she comes out with, this lady, because it's. She tends to keep herself quiet, but then as soon as a podcast comes on, she'll tell you all sorts. Things like that. What? How? Going to you, Kyle, while we wait for her to explain that. Best location and why?
100%. Again, white collar. Because
That's apparition.
no, because I was actually there for that apparition.
You were for the first one. We got it twice.
Oh, sorry, the first one I was. Sorry,
The one on the wall where it goes
Sorry,
across the wall.
Yeah, the first one I was. But then sounds.
The noises.
I was just so because I
What
were
were they? The noises.
Yeah, so even though like I've been caught up, like being emotional with like issues before, and just trying to get straight now, but with like the white collar, it was the sounds that we were picking up on. So we heard like these weird groans, like, and they were in response to questions that we were asking, and the EMF, and it was just so like immediate after.
We'd ask a question, and the EMF would go, and we'd get a sound at the same time.
They were so loud, well, not loud, but like loud enough to hear.
Literally above our head, kind of.
Yeah, picking up on the camera.
You actually went round the back.
I went round the back because I was so infuriated that I couldn't actually find out the source of these sounds, where they were coming from.
Well, the good thing is with white collar, it's literally like a little. It's like ruins of a stately home, and all around it you can see there's just clearance all around it, which makes it ideal because you can see that there's no people or animals or anything all around, and we were just getting these noises like right. It sounded like it was above our heads.
It literally was, wasn't it?
And you're just running around the wall, and there's just nothing there, and it was just like there has to be something there because it's just so clear.
But that was like the first time we caught an audio clip before that, haven't we?
EVP.
Before that, where was that? That was
that was Richard Paper.
That lady,
the security guard lady. When she talked to Vicky, and Vicky asked the question, and she replied, "Do you put the EVP on?"
Oh, there was that one, but there was the one before.
The one at Wally Abbey.
Wally Abbey.
With that guy that went, "Get out."
Yeah. But that was because it was so repetitive and it was like over and over again. That's what was like blowing my mind, and that's why I was so frustrated when I couldn't find the source of it. And that's what kind of like obviously made me think like this is actually
happening,
and we're actually catching this on film.
Do you know what they call that? Welcome to the paranormal.
Yeah.
I think
that's what it is, mate. Welcome to the paranormal.
Point when you prove everything, you've debunked everything. It's at that point where you realise. Until you've dismayed all the inevitables.
Yeah.
Going to Vicky then, same question.
I was dreading this because I don't know. I don't have a favourite because I love all the locations, all the spirits we meet, all the stories, all the experiences.
Okay. let's
think-
change the location thing. How about more personal to you? So in other words, you have like a part of you there. So for me, mine's Nocton Hospital. Yes, I was born there, but a part of me is Nocton Hall.
Yeah, I suppose I'll have to say somewhere like York, because obviously it's my home county, but
I've never done York.
just the history there, the stories, the feelings.
Isn't it supposed to be like the most haunted place in the UK after Derby?
I'll tell you where else I do like is Howard, Bronte County. We did the cemetery on the hill, but then we did the actual town, and that
Yeah.
was just incredible. It's so beautiful. I'm quite into like my literature and books and that kind of thing. So to be in the heart of Bronte County, to see that place and then to feel it, feel the energy, feel the spirits, that was when we were getting the tapping on the railings, wasn't it? And,
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was tapping. And we found the bone as well.
we did. But there's connections obviously to Haworth, which then goes to the Pendle Witches, which then goes to Lancashire. So it's that wonderful connection. I just love how everything is connected.
Good, nice. Right, guys, so we're coming up the hour mark now. I'd like to thank Kyle, Vicky, and Jason for coming on. Guys, I would like to get you on later in the year if possible. Catch up with three of you, find out what you've been doing, investigating. Hopefully, you've gone back to Cannock Chase. I'd like to go more with the cryptic side of it because I know nothing about it. And when people say to me, Dogman, which you mentioned earlier, the Texas Blues, Chupacabra, all of a sudden I started to become interested in it because people are bringing this up a lot now. And I like to learn more from teams, and like I said, I'd love to have you guys back on to learn more about it. Hopefully you go back to Cannock Chase before I get you guys back on. Thank you for coming on, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
very much.
No worries, guys. I will just do this right, everyone, guys. I'm back on tomorrow night with Jason, not Jason Steer, Jason there. I'm on with Daryl Evans from Lost Souls tomorrow. That'll be interesting. Another British team.
Nice.
I don't get many British teams, funny enough. It's all Americans.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you something in a minute when